course walks into the bar, and the barman says, "Why the long face?" All right, you guys get that? Okay. What happens with the matches that we played yesterday? What do we do about those? Now, some of you guys didn't play matches, but I want you to go back to that match that you played, or if you didn't play it yesterday, and I want you to think about how you felt throughout that match. And you probably recognize that you went through like a roller coaster of emotions. Certain stages you were feeling good, certain stages you were not feeling as good. And then especially after your match, certain feelings would have been very present. But the real question is not about your feelings. The real question is about what information you gathered. What lessons did you learn from that match? But I'm going to tell you, the worst thing you could have done is nothing. To not review the match, win or lose. We all tend to feel bad when we lose. I want to stand still by that quickly. Why do we feel bad when we lose? We feel bad because we feel that we didn't succeed, that deep down we feel that we're not enough. And I want to address that, because that's incorrect behavior after you lose. Your value does not change. Winning and losing doesn't make you more or less. It's simply a reflection, and by the way, a true reflection. It's not false. That's the truth. What happened, happened. For you to put it in perspective and say, hey, with my process here, here, and here, I fell short. Maybe I was inconsistent. Maybe I made a wrong decision. And that's okay. And like a baker or a chef, when they don't like the final product, they just go and change the recipe. They don't question themselves. In sport, we tend to do that, and that's incorrect behavior. You have to stop doing that. And if you just felt bad about your match, and most of all, you just wanted to avoid feeling that way, guys, that pressure is simply a sign that, hey, I need to find the solutions here. And then if you won, and you only felt good about it, like, yep, I won, I feel more, that's a problem as well. Because if we don't study greatness, we don't understand how to become great. So if you played a great match yesterday, what did you do with that information? Did you understand why you played great? So let's go back to why you would feel bad about losing. If it really hurts a lot, it could be several reasons. It could be that it really means a lot to you. The project means a lot, and that's a good thing. But at the same time, please make sure it's not about your ego. Feeling that, hey, I failed, I'm not enough. Because that is never the case. It is the truth that in that moment, in that match, some things were not correct. Some things need to be adjusted. And quite simply what you do is, you take it on the chin, you take the lesson, and you go and make adjustments. You make improvements. You add skills to your project. But never ever limit yourself. You define yourself in the face of difficulty. When things get difficult, that is where champions step up and define themselves. They don't always win. So now I want to kind of like ask you, match that you play, or on those difficult moments, what steals performance from you? What steals execution from you? Thieves. There are several thieves out there that's going to steal things from you. And those thieves, I'm going to identify quick 3 areas here. Others can steal performance from us. Circumstances and ourselves. Go back to your match of yesterday. What stole performance from you? Was it you? Was it the opponent? Or was it the circumstances? First and foremost, circumstances. Most often we can't do anything about it. That is what it is. You know, just a few weeks ago I had one of the players complain about the light on the indoors. And yes, she was correct. But the reality is that it was the same for the opponent. On a windy day, we typically see players complain it's windy. But guess what? It's the same conditions for the opponent. So when it comes to circumstances, you have to accept what you can't control. You've got to work on what you can control. And just simply in a windy day, to have a better attitude than your opponent, you're giving yourself an advantage. Why wouldn't you? Others. Maybe my opponent is doing something really well. And that's okay. How do I take that away from him? Oh, listen to what I just said. My opponent is doing something really well. They're making my life tough. But what can I do to take that away from them? Maybe I don't get it right the first, the second, the third attempt. But somewhere there's going to be an opportunity. And I need to be ready for it. So if I don't have my mind in a good space, and that opportunity in the match comes around where I can turn it, and I don't even recognize that opportunity. I'm not even ready because of my mindset. Guess what? We got a problem. So I'm going to tell you, the biggest thief of your performance is you. You are the mountain. And we all like to deny it. And the first sign of somebody that denies that is a person that makes excuses. No excuses. One of the most important lessons I learned in life and in sport is that it is not fair. I work my backside off, I get to the tournament, and things go wrong. And I come to realize that those guys that succeed at the highest level, the pros, it's not because of their A games. It's not because of the A day. It's how they perform on a B or a C day. And it's true that we need certain skills and tools to perform on those days. So yesterday when things got tough, what stole your performance? Did you allow anything? And again, hold on. The biggest thief is you. The biggest thing you got to overcome is you. And once you do that, once you master yourself, man, guess what? Those skills are going to come. And they're going to become more consistent. And remember, no pressure, no diamonds. We don't have pressure, we don't develop. And again, I'm going to say, we define ourselves in the face of difficulty. Through our thinking, that leads to action. So, what stole your mindset? What steals your energy? What steals your focus? What steals your discipline? I'm going to tell you. The biggest culprit there is the feeler. Feelings. And there are a lot of different feelings. But if we don't tell the feeler, hey, power of decision making is not yours. It's okay to feel this way, yes. That's all right. It's true. In this moment, I feel this way. But the power of decision making goes to the thinker, that part of the brain. But first, we must accept our feelings, accept that what happened is true, and then we go to the thinker and say, okay, well, what do we do? And I am so happy to say that yesterday in the matches, I saw a few players take their notebooks out. And maybe when they took their notebooks out, they didn't necessarily find the solution. Maybe they did. Maybe something we discussed previously. But that, just the fact that they took the book out, that was a victory. You're a winner because you did that. Because you are trying to find a solution, you're trying to adapt. And we don't remember everything. We don't always know in that moment what is the right answer. So just by giving ourselves something to put in the awareness field, that in itself shows me that you're trying to be smarter. Clarity under pressure is something that the greats achieve. I saw a little clip of LeBron James, and they're in the playoffs. It's a difficult situation. And in that moment, he's out there, closed his eyes, he's breathing, he's meditating, he's working on his mind. And we all recognize him for all the physicality, the athleticism, the shots that he takes, the incredible plays that he comes up with. But there is this guy sitting there, and in the heat of the battle, he's working on his mind. He's breathing, he's calming himself down. So when things get tough for you in a tennis match, do you let the thief in? Do you let him steal performance from you? Or you sit down and say, right, let's figure this out. It's fine. Most important that you understand is that you gotta leave it all out there. Don't leave one stone unturned. You have to leave it all out there. And you gotta be your own motivation. But you gotta not allow anything to steal first and foremost your mindset. And I want you to try and think from yesterday when you didn't execute. Why is it? When you didn't make good decisions, why is it? And you need to go and write down when that happened. What really was it that stole that from you? Because if we can identify the root of the problem, let me explain this little analogy, the root of the problem. It means I get a weed and I see what's on top of the ground and I just take the weed out. But I don't take the root out, I just take what is on top of the surface. So now it looks good. But because I didn't take the root out, guess what? It grows again. It grows again. So unless I deal with the root of the problem, I take the whole root out, that thing is going to grow again. So you need to understand what is causing the issues when you perform. So therefore, the beauty of hindsight. We live life forward, yet we understand life retrospectively, looking at it backwards. So as you're living forward in that match, your job is then after the match to get over your emotions and make sense of it. Yet you do that. Now I know the coaches spoke with you, and they spoke with you, and they pointed certain things out. And when they did that, did you have clarity when you listened to them? or did the emotions again cloud what you heard? Maybe a little bit the ego could have interfered as well. And this is the biggest sign when the ego interferes, but this, but that. We're all in need of really updating our operating system, our software here. And again, like LeBron James, we see the greatest, arguably of all time, working on mindset. Funny though, we see the same thing with Colby. We saw the same thing with Michael Jordan. Let's continue. Roger Federer, Nadal. So, how do we know that we have the right software? First and foremost, nothing steals your mindset. If something does, mindset is what we have because we want to perform. We don't have it, we don't have a good attitude because things are going well. The nature of competition is for things not to go well. So this is the most important one. We've already spoken about it. Don't lose energy. Don't lose intensity. Focus. Discipline. I want to stand still by that one quickly. Now, don't answer this out loud because I need you to be very honest with yourself. Let's look at little signs of discipline back at home and everyday life. I'm a great believer, and I'm going to explain this, that you cannot be a loser or undisciplined in life and then go onto the tennis court and all of a sudden flick a switch and be disciplined and a champion and a great thinker. So your practice needs to be at home as well. And hey, if things are not in place, I'm not here to judge you. I'm just saying, listen, if you want to be a better competitor, practice at home. Get it right at home. Because that is where we can make massive improvements. So one of the things we identify discipline. If there is something that I need to do at home, maybe mom and dad says that, hey, after you eat something, clean up. I remember a young tennis player came and stayed with us. And I'm going to tell you the story. Every time after he would have lunch, it would be a mess. Everything is lying around. His plate is left out. No surprise that when we looked at him on the tennis court, exactly the same thing. No discipline whatsoever, mentally, emotionally. So it's a pattern of behavior. Now, while this kid was working with me, one of the things we worked on incredibly hard is discipline. And bad news for him, because he was living in my house, he didn't have the choice not to be disciplined at home. And then when we got to the court, he had to be disciplined. But he got to a point where it was too much for him. He couldn't be disciplined. While he was disciplined, the 6-7 months, he improved an incredible amount over a UTR point. And then he said, no, I don't want to be disciplined. Very talented player, nice guy, mostly, but he then stopped. Guess what? Year and a half later, his UTR is still the same. You see him play now, no discipline, very talented. So what I'm saying to you is that be honest with yourself about your discipline at home, because that's what we're going to see in the match. And start today. Make little improvements. Again, guys, I understand that we all come from different ways, different upbringings, different cultures, but sport doesn't allow that freedom. Sport says to you, competition says to you, be disciplined, because if you're not, I'm going to spit you out. You cannot have that culture at the highest level. So a simple thing like discipline could be stealing your success. I hope I made that clear, because I honestly believe in that. And if any of you guys believe that, no, I can just be a loose cannon and then go on court and switch it on, come and tell me how you do it, because I've never seen it. All right, things that steal my performance: thieves, comfort zones, avoidance. Oh, hold on, that's a big one. Avoidance, avoiding pressure, avoiding conflict. I'll let you into something. I hate conflict. I really hate it. I avoid it as much as I can. I avoid conflict that's not necessary. Conflict that's necessary, I've learned that I need to face it. And I'm never happy when I do it. My job, unfortunately, also doesn't allow that luxury. It demands that I confront you, because that's the greatest love I can show you, and demanding that you change. So if I then as a person don't like conflict and I avoid it, that's all right. But I'm going to tell you, in tennis, you cannot avoid it. If something is standing in your way, the more you avoid it, the more you leave it, if you don't solve that problem, it's going to keep coming back at you. And that's the way life works. It keeps coming back at you bigger and bigger and bigger. And every next time it comes back at you bigger, you don't solve it, you don't face it, right? You're going to start feeling this is impossible. Nothing is impossible. Face it. Face the music. That is competition. That is life. Face it. Figure it out. Overcome it. And when you do it, you're going to feel good. You're going to feel good about yourself. And I tell you, I've seen so many times that I've gone with players to tournaments where they, in the first round, that is a struggle. They somehow squeeze through like this long, incredibly difficult match. Things are not going right. But they're out there fighting and they figure it out. And so many times with this specific situation where one of my players struggled in the first round, they actually go on and win the tournament. Because getting through all that difficulty readies them for any difficulty that is about to happen. So guys, face your difficulties. Face the things that are taking performance from you. Let's go and look at some of the other thieves. Laziness. I'm not even going to go there. We know that opportunity steals. Do we agree with that? Do we agree that opportunity is going to steal success from you? Up to a certain point. But guys, I'm going to tell you, you must create your own opportunity. There are plenty of people out there wanting to help you, but you got to show with your actions that, hey, I deserve to be helped. If you're not knowledgeable, if you don't have a database, you don't have a lot of things in your awareness field, maybe I don't succeed. I'm going to quickly tell you 2 examples of players that, look, they had to believe that this is the right way. In the beginning, Nadal didn't believe. Went to a tournament, won the match easy. Afterwards, Uncle Tony rips into him because he played the wrong way. He said, you play this way, you're not going to make it at the highest level. In that moment, young Nadal didn't believe it. But he believed in Uncle Tony. He believed that he knew enough. We skip to the North American continent. So, Agassi loses to Michael Chang, Kalamazoo finals. He doesn't get the wild card into US Open. I asked him what went wrong. He said, nothing went wrong. I'm playing the right game. I know this is the right game. And one day, when I get consistent and I get master it, one day, by the way, it doesn't happen overnight, I master it, I'm going to be a great player. And he proved himself right. So, Maybe success was stolen from you yesterday because you're trying to play a way that is the right way, but you're not consistent at it yet. You haven't mastered it yet. So surround yourself with people that know. Get information from people that's been there. Don't take information from somebody that hasn't been there, that has not experienced. Be careful with the information that you put in here. This is absolutely key. And there are a lot of people, I coached in Florida, and I tell you, there's a lot of talking going on. And it's easy to talk. I gotta tell you, fact check. Experience is massive. Then those around you that inform you. Let's look at their intent. Surround yourself with people that want you to succeed. And there are a lot of people that want you to succeed. So, especially when they confront you, first thing you ask is, hey, what are their intentions here? Are they trying to make me better? Alright, things that can still steal performance or our success from us. Motivation. Now I'm going to hit you with the truth. That should not come from outside of you. That needs to come from within you. And that clip of LeBron, I could see how the guy's body, as he goes through this meditation, the breathing, closing his eyes, what you see is how the body language becomes positive. From within, you got energy, you got positive. Yesterday when it went wrong, what happened to your energy? What happened to your positivity? What happened to your motivation? Did you tell yourself, hey, I can do this? Doesn't matter how difficult it is. I'm fighting the fight. And that's the real victory, walking off that court. The victory isn't the scoreboard. So your measurement for success needs to be something different. It needs to be in your process, and yes, I did a good job with my process. And it needs to be with my decision making, yes, I did a good job with my decision making. And I did a good job with my attitude. And then when you're done, and you've ticked those boxes, you did not lose. You're a winner. And this is how it works. Because you do those things, and you have the right skills, the percentages will start working in your favor. 70, 80%. Roger Federer didn't allow any thieves in his mind. And we know his most successful year, he only won 53% of all points that he played that whole year. 47% of the time, 47 out of 100 points, he lost. But it's because he didn't let the thieves in. What steals your success? What steals your performance? You must know what these things are. Because those are the roots of your problems. And then you take the next step and say, okay, I've identified it. What do we do about it? This is not match related. Yes, it could actually be. Planning. Failing to plan means planning to fail. You're not planning the match. You're not organized. You're not planning your development. No, that's coach's job. That is your job. You need to plan. That is your project. That's another one right there, taking ownership. This is my project, nobody else's project. Not having the tools. Yes, you need other people to help you with this. All right, let's look at quickly the list of things that steals performance or success from us. Mindset, energy, focus, discipline, avoidance, comfort zones, lazy, opportunity, knowledge, motivation, planning, ownership, lack of tools. Now if I look at a top player, they're not going to tick any of these boxes. Neither can you. If you want to be a top player, you can't tick any of these boxes. What we want to see though is composure, calmness. We want to see clarity. Clarity means push my emotions to the side and let the thinking brain come up with solutions. Now remember, you might not come up with a solution. After the match, you've got to figure it out. Ask the right questions about that match. Problem solving is kind of like the same. Prioritizing things in the match. What do I prioritize? Do I prioritize my process? Do I prioritize winning, result? Are you adaptable? How strong is your focus? Especially when distracted. Do you practice resilience? Very necessary for competition, especially tennis, because you're going to lose a lot. It's a big one, self-talk. How do you talk to yourself? That little voice inside, if right now you're telling me my self-talk isn't good, maybe that comes from somewhere, maybe it comes from how somebody talks to me. It could be a lot of different ways. Maybe your self-talk is because of Instagram. 10 years ago, 15 years ago, we didn't have this problem. But now you're growing up, and you're growing out. You know what a landmine is? When people went to war, two countries, they would put these mines under the ground. You can't see it. You step on it, right? Instagram, for a champion, is a landmine. Because there is so much negative out there. There's so much rubbish. You step on it every day. And it destroys your champion. Because what you put in here, what you allow in here, becomes that little voice, that self-voice. You're like a jug. You can't put water in and expect to pour out milk. What do you put in? What do you put in? And you're sitting here this morning, and I'm confronting you. Why? Not because I don't like you, but I don't like some of your behavior. And I'm telling you, do you truly want to succeed? I still like all of you guys, just so you know, right? As a person. So start liking yourself. And the bottom line is each and every one of you guys here sits with the capacity to become exceptional, to become great. Do yourself one favor. Start today, but don't settle for mediocrity, because that is what the world is selling you right now. Now I'm going to say, not one of you sitting here can tell me that you can't succeed. If somebody tells you, hey, it's too late, rubbish. That is never too late. Why do I say that? You know, if they tell you it's too late, and you say, yeah, it's too late, that's on you, because you're listening to them. You let others limit you. You got to work on yourself then. You got to refuse to listen to them. Again, get rid of the mountain. The mountain is you. You want to become great at anything?